Hi everyone, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads, and in this Better Beader episode, we're going to talk bails. So bails can be thought of as at the top of necklaces or pendants, as well as earrings, and I thought there's a lot of questions about what to use as a bail. Every time I get done a project, I think, how am I going to hang this from the piece? Do I want to do a jump ring? Do I want to make my own? Do I want to do something seed bead? Do I want to go simple and actually attach it with thread and needle? So I thought I'd do a whole Better Beader episode on basically your bail options and maybe show you some things that you weren't familiar with and you weren't sure that we had. There's the option for different bail making products or things that are already pre-manufactured. So you may have a piece that actually needs a glue-on bail. This is going to be a glue-on bail, generally has an opening that you have to think about what you are actually putting your piece on. So are you putting it on leather? Are you putting it on chain? Are you putting it on a seed beaded rope? Kind of up to you, but you need to think about that when you determine how big you want your bail or the top of your piece to be. So these pre-manufactured ones that are for gluing on, say you have a dichroic cab or a cab that you want to just keep really simple, I would suggest actually using some Loctite glue, kind of roughing up the back of your cab a little bit, and then you'll want to glue that directly on. So all you see is the actual piece of the bail that is going to stick out from the top. So yes, there's glue on bails, but then there's tons and tons, and in different size, I should add that. And then there's tons and tons of different options for bails. Sometimes you have a piece that actually has a hole in it. Sometimes you might have a pin. So I wanted to show this, the pin converters. You actually have the opportunity here to take a pin or a brooch, put the pin through the tubing here of the brooch so you can wear it both ways, and then you have this nice thick bail that you could wear with a scarf, you could wear with a thicker cording, with an omega necklace, and it gives you the opportunity to actually not convert the pin to an actual pendant, but have it be both. Sometimes you do want to convert the pin, cut off the back or snap off the pin backing, and just add a jump ring or something through the top. Whether or not you do a really small jump ring or something a little bit fancy, you want to make sure that anytime you're using a jump ring, that it's not going to open up. Pendants or things that hang down tend to be a little bit heavier. So if you are having something that is going to hang down with a bail and you want to just use a jump ring, you're going to make sure that that jump ring isn't going to be too thin that it's going to open up. When you do close or use jump rings as bails, you want to make sure again that they are thick and that they are going to close. Make sure that jump ring, when you open it and slide it to the side, closes back up completely, pushing it past a little bit where you think it'll be closed, and generally then it'll kind of snap back in place. When possible, I'll also take that jump ring and kind of push it into the pendant so that way there's not an opening towards the top. Again, you want to make sure with jump rings that whatever you're using is going to fit through the size jump rings. There's simple jump rings and there's fancy jump rings like this antique silver plated twisted one that you can use as your bail at the top of your pendant. When working with a lot of wire, you may actually want to make your own out of the wire you're working with. For this, you are going to require some round nose pliers. So looking at round nose pliers, they are used to make a round bail loop. Depending on where you hold on the pliers, that's going to determine the size of the loop and how that is kind of getting its look and getting what it's going to be bail size. Sometimes if you are working with a piece like this tree of life here, you will need to make the bail a little bit smaller or turn it to make sure that it sits correctly on the neck or attaches to the necklace. If you don't have a piece of wire or you're attaching to something else, you can always use a head pin too to work as your bail. So I have here some 2-inch kind of fun head pins, and I just wanted to show you basically how you can attach it to a piece and actually make it a bail. So this has a little bit more of a kind of fun look to it, but you can actually make your own bails. So there's the manufactured ones like I have on this wreath here. You can sew onto the piece, or you can glue on need be and use some stiff stuff or some backing if you're doing a pendant in that version. And they have a nice look to them. They come in tube shapes with a little ring hanging on the bottom. They come in this other bail shape. And then also there's the ones that are really, really simple. There's also ones, in case you're not familiar with it, this is a sterling silver bail that actually is a clip back bail. So it is removable, that it has a little clip back there. You can open up, slide whatever you want on, close it up and change that up. It's good if you use interchangeable ear wires or lever back ear wires. You can change your earring to a pendant very, very easily. But what if you want to make a bail out of wire? So I have this kind of funky head pin here, and I would suggest, again, if you're using wire, you want to use about a 20 and up gauge. You can do a simple figure 8 to be able to be your bail, or you can use a fancier head pin, so that way it looks like a little bit more detailed bail. You can take the round nose pliers and put it through the project and kind of bend that wire up towards the actual fanciness of the piece. Take the wire then, put it onto whatever you need to, and I should have had something sitting here to go through, so I'll just kind of pretend I need to make it onto this little earring here that I'm going to talk about wire guards. Slide it on, and depending on how you turn the wire, the little piece here can either sit at the bottom and be decorative at the bottom, or it can sit at the top. You're just going to take your head pin then and coil that wire around the base of that, or the top of that head pin. So what usually is kind of the bottom is now going to be the top. Cut off that extra wire and you're good to go. You can then have that be at the bottom and kind of face that forward to make a fancier bail, or you can keep that at the top so that way you have a little bit of a decorative look. The other thing I have on here is a wire guard. So many times when I do pendants or earrings, I use wire guards because I like the look of the wire guard rather than actually just making a seed beaded bail. Actually, even the earrings that I have on here, these polar earrings, they have a wire guard here too. You can see as you take the wire guard out, if you have these fish hooks, this is where I was saying I could take this bail if I want to, open it up, and my earring easily then becomes a pendant after I get that guy open, slide him on, turn it so that way it becomes a pendant, and I can turn that earring and close that up. Now it has completely a different look and a different function when you're looking at it. So that's the fun of these kind of changeable bails. When you are looking at the wire guards, I use them a lot as the bail. Whether or not that's thinking for an earring or a necklace, I have that option to hang down the bail. I have a necklace here showing how it looks nice and finished right at the top because it has that nice silver ending. I prefer that to jump rings, especially if I'm doing any wire working any day. The other thing, if you're doing seed beading and you want to have a certain look to it, you can create your own bail out of seed beads. Whether or not it's something like this macrame pendant, which I just did a herringbone stitch, you can also think outside the box. This here is a toggle seed beaded bar and loop. Think about the fact that you can take this loop and you can actually attach it to some of your seed beaded pieces to make it into a bail, whether or not it's front facing or side facing. Now this one's a little bit large, but you could go a little bit smaller. You can do the same thing if you've done any seed bead triangles and made any triangles that you can then connect to be your bail as well. So I can sew them on here, doubling them back one on the other and give it a completely different look. You want to think about your bail often as you think about your clasp. So is the bail going to be part of the look? Do you want it to be really kind of show-offish, and is that part of the design? Or do you just want it to function? That's something that you need to ask yourself as you're looking at and creating bails. What is the purpose of it? Is it literally just to hang something down and you want the focus to stay on the piece, as in this flower here? I don't want another piece above. When it comes to the Christmas wreath here, I really wanted that bail because I wanted it to almost look like a door hanger and have that on, so I used the big bail. Same with the piece here, I wanted to mimic the seed beads and kind of have that seed bead as the design. So there's so many different options to do when you're thinking bails and how to finish off necklaces, pendants, as well as earrings. But you want to think about the function of it, how it's going to use. You want to make sure if you are using a jump ring as a bail to make sure that jump ring is closed up. I always prefer to make my own out of coiled links and check out some of the other videos showing how to do so. If you search within this YouTube channel for pendant, you can also see the multiple different ways that we've gone about doing bails and tops of the designs. I always recommend, if you want to keep it simple, to use a wire guard as your bail and your connecting portion. If you want to dress it up a little bit, go ahead and do a seed beaded bail, whether or not it's ladder stitch, herringbone stitch, or doing a little strip of peyote. You can also change some head pins and make them function as bails as well for a little bit more of a decorative design. The bails, again, can really add to your project and really add to the display of that pendant piece. So check out all the different options, look around on Google, on YouTube, on Pinterest, and see all of the exciting ideas for different types of bails to use on your pieces. Remember, as always, if you want to, you can give a little thumbs up. Comment below and let us know your kind of trick or your preference or what you use to do your favorite bail. Make sure in those comments then, it gives and helps people in the community to get other ideas as well from different beaders, not just from me. Mentioning the community, if you'd like to, you can join our group on Facebook for beading and jewelry making. It's a wonderful, wonderful interactive group that's great for beginners and advanced alike to get inspiration, ideas, and really just have that beading community. As always, if you need any materials to make any bails or any pendants to go along with them, check us out at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Remember, if you need any links, they are right below me in the description, that little 3-line or the drop-down menu, depending on what device you're looking at it. Remember to subscribe, like, and stay connected with us as well so you get notifications. As always, thanks so much for watching this episode of Better Beader, and hopefully it strikes your imagination and gives you some new ideas.